And we're back for Game 3 of our second best of 3 of the day. Western playoff time, Fnatic and Na'Vi, with one game determining who advances to play Team Liquid on Thursday in our best of 5 finals, and one game determining which team goes home with a third place finish. I'm your host here at AC Chambers, joined by Ben Merlini Wu as always, and I'll tell you, Ben, this looks familiar. Call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure we saw Na'Vi trying to run IO against Fnatic in the same position in Game 1. And Fnatic showed us a Visage and Enchantress pickup right off the bat as well. This time, though, they are going to get a much more applicable partner to go with IO, a much more effective partner, probably a better word for, non-dumb people, to describe CK and the way he pairs with IO. So very similar, but a very important change on the side of Na'Vi.
10 seconds remaining.
Really important that they banned out the Venomancer and that they didn't pick up a Chen early, because Venomancer was one of the big problems early. He was able to keep those relatively weak supports down in the early game, and I think that this is a much better draft starting out for Na'Vi.
Yeah, very much agree. I'm a little surprised, actually, to see Fnatic go ahead and ban the Chen, given how well things worked out for them in Game 1, but instead, not wanting to give Puppey the option, we're going to see Na'Vi go ahead and take away the Alchemist, the Veno gone, Era's Lifestealer will not be joining us either, and Fnatic not liking the way Puppey's Crystal Maiden felt, getting rid of that hero as well, so prioritizing a lot of Puppey heroes. And really, there's not a whole lot to say until we get into the second phase, because both teams are wide open. I mean, obviously, IOCK very flexible in how you want to run them. You can put both of them in a duo mid situation, simply run them out of a tri-lane. That tends to be the most common. Just to try and make sure that no matter what, CK gets a good start, and IO hopefully has a decent amount of experience gained to hit level 6 at a decent clip. But Fnatic, we saw them effectively run Hani in the solo mid Visage position once before. Don't know they'll go back to that well again, probably a dry well at this point. But it did work out, and we saw just how much burst these two heroes in particular can give you once they hit level 6. Visage and Enchantress with the pure damage of Impetus, and Visage just being able to pour it out over and over again with the long-range artillery of Soul Assumption. It makes it tough for a hero like CK to stand and fight, at least until he gets a BKB, so that's likely to be a highly prioritized item for Na'Vi.
I'm surprised that they picked the EO over to Visage. Visage is just an extremely strong hero, and Visage does pretty well versus EO, I feel like, too. The Visage birds often, they line themselves up after they relocate, and just the amount of burst that Visage can deal is pretty good at taking out the Wisp, and he's pretty tanky, even if EO and CK do decide to go on him. Fnatic going for a Batrider. Na'Vi did ban that out in Game 1, so looks like we'll see Honey probably take that role. I think Na'Vi can just go with the Storm Spirit, as they did. It's different than in Game 1 because they don't have a Bristleback either, so they have some hero besides Storm that will be like the main focus from Fnatic, and also pairing him up versus a Batrider is a pretty good matchup for the Storm Spirit. They don't have to take it now. They can probably take it for the 4th pick if they wanted to. They do need one more support. Nyx Assassin is very, very good versus Visage, as well as Batrider, if they want to go with that, but it's not terribly easy to hit his stunts post-patch.
Yeah, I'm interested in the interplay here, because Batrider's a pretty solid answer to a CK. CK is a hero who, so long as you can isolate him after he decides to pop Phantasm, he can be very susceptible to, again, burst damage, susceptible to just being pulled out of position. He's a hero who wants to dictate fights with the easy spammability of Chaos Bolt and Reality Rift. He wants to hang around the periphery till he can get off his full combination. And being able to catch him out, drag him into a fight before he's ready can really be a battle swinger. I mean, it's that case. That's the case with pretty much anyone. But now the Doom pickup, that gives them a nice answer in another fashion. It gives them a hero who might want to build a Midas, who might want to be in an off-carry position while still being a solid answer to take Batrider out of the fight for an extended amount of time.
10 seconds remaining.
I think that Doom may be used to roam, or at least counter roam the Enchantress in this particular matchup. It might not be like a super hard farming Doom and just straight jungle. It is very good versus Enchantress. You just eat her creep, and then she doesn't really have any firepower left after that. And they do need to get an early game advantage. They can't just play passively Wisp, just pull and stack Doom, just jungle, or else they're going to lose out in the early game, because Enchantress and Visage can put out so much pressure at that 1 through 5 levels that they're going to set back Na'Vi really hard. So I think that Na'Vi does need to try and contest it if Fnatic goes aggro, and they can't just be like really dodgy with the ganks and try and outfarm them in that aspect.
Well, we see another hero that's still in the pool if Na'Vi wants to pick it up, as opposed to a Storm Spirit, is the OD that you had mentioned India's shown quite a proclivity for over the last week or two, playing the hero quite a lot. He actually works very well with IO as well, being able, even if the CK's not handy or he's dead or what have you, OD makes for a very good hero to relocate in, as does Doom in a lot of ways, depending on the situation. Relocating a Doom in on up, and there's the OD. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Gives you a little bit more AoE team fight, gives you some pure damage to deal with a hero like a Timbersaw, gives you a Astral Imprisonment. That's another tool to help shut down Bad Rider's Lasso. Just a really smart pick there.
I think that Fnatic should have banned out the OT instead of the puck, because OD is just so much more difficult to deal with, and Bat Rider or Timbersaw, whoever they put mid, is just not going to have an easy matchup for them. Or Fnatic should have picked the OD for themselves, because it is decent versus EO. It's good versus CK illusions too. It was just and it's good defensively versus CK to Astral, whoever gets stunned out. So I think that Fnatic slight outdraft thus far, but nothing that good play can mitigate.
I do like the way Timbersaw matches up against CK in particular. CK very reliant, of course, on physical damage. And Timbersaw just is a big walking time bomb. You put him in a fight, just have him wander around, and CK, once he reality risks the first time, can be caught out. I mean, he obviously is going to be a BKB hero, so that helps him out a little bit against things like Chakram. But for the most part, Na'Vi just has a very well-rounded lineup. And I'm with you. I think you would call this a slight outdraft so far. We'll see what Fnatic wants to tack on right now. One would imagine that'll be a bat mid with a Timber off, so maybe still looking for a hard farming kind of a carry. While Na'Vi at this point certainly has their mid, their jungle. Yep, they're going to go and grab a Luna. So Luna gives them multiple sources of damage in the mid game. They're going to have her late game carry potential, and Ancient Apparition picked up by Na'Vi. And that's certainly an interesting pickup. That's something that
CKAA is really strong too. It was used before Wisp CK got popular.
Yep, I remember that actually. In fact, back in the days of the guaranteed tri-lane, I actually saw a few very effective offensive tri-lanes predicated around an IO, an Ancient Apparition, and a CK. I want to say it might have been Na'Vi that ran it the few times I saw it. And you can actually do some interesting things with Bottle to keep your Ancient Apparition full of mana, to keep your Chaos Knight full of mana. Very early Bottle pickup on IO, or even just going double Bottle with the Ancient Apparition and the IO picking it up. That's another way to make this very effective. So we'll see how they want to end up running it.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah, I think it would have been pretty good for them to maybe like put Luna mid. I've seen Luna do decently versus OD with that aura, but Ahani mid, he's just going to have a really rough time trying to CS versus OD, and he's never going to run out of mana in between Astral for that extra intelligence, the magic stick, and yeah, I don't really see Deadly losing this mid lane.
Both teams moving out as 5. Doesn't look like they're going to be crossing paths anytime soon, though, so go ahead and take a look at our lineups. It'll be Puppey running another cold hero. This time, though, it'll be the Ancient Apparition under his control. Havost will be farming up our CK with, as anticipated, Dindy on the OD, who will be making his way to mid. Kuroki will be back on IO, looking for a much better performance than we saw in Game 1. And Funnick will be playing on the Doom. The other side of the river, we got Fly playing on our Visage this time around. No Tail will be handling our Enchantress. Luna, farmed up by Era. The Timbersaw going to be played by Trixie, and Trixie's actually hanging around mid, at least for the moment. Does look like it will be Hani on the bats, taking permanent station there, though. And, Hani rounds out that front 5 of the lineup. So early laning advantage. Looks like it's going to be a fairly defensive posture to begin. Who do you think has the advantage?
I think that Na'Vi has advantage, even though the AA pick I think is a little bit weird. Oh, Funnick, is he going to grab the haste? No.
Era sure will. And not going to pursue Funnick up onto the high ground. Probably the right call to make there. But go ahead. Finish your thought.
I think if they just keep on dooming the Timbersaw, I think they'll be okay. I still don't really know why they picked the AA. It's not very good versus, like, none of their heroes have, like, a ton of regen besides Enchantress, but Enchantress is not, like, a huge factor in this particular situation. So, yeah, I'm still a little bit, like, kind of dumbfounded, I guess, by it. I mean, it is pretty potent, I guess, with the lane, and I guess actually they're gonna have Wisp jungle.
See a little bit of friendly banter between Kuroki and No Tail. A little warding and counter warding, and An exchange of exclamation points, the universal language of the Dota players to express exasperation with each other. Trixie be all off on his lonesome here in this off lane. And I'm, yeah, like, so far as the AA pickup, I like the way they work. I suspect that Havost is going to be moving around a lot earlier than we saw Era move around when he was on CK in this same role with the IO on team earlier on. That's really the only way it makes sense. I mean, Chilling Touch plus Cold Feet with the Chaos Bolt to lead off, that's just deadly, but you want to be in a situation to use it early. That's when it's most effective.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I don't really think they can control Trixie either, because he can just Timber Saw away or Timber Chain away, so not really a big loss there. Hani actually doing very decently in middle. He's actually may dive Dindy here.
Dindy with 5 stacks. Fnatic's going to come over to try and help, and Dindy eating a lot of damage. This might be our first blood. There's an Astral in prison, and that'll be it. It's one of those things, you know, but no matter how good you are, you can still find yourself in a bad situation against a competent Batrider player. You get 4 or 5 stacks in the first couple of levels, you get 4 or 5 stacks of sticky napalm, you will just die. And that's exactly what we just saw in Fnatic. Going to use Scorched Earth, and Hani now may be in some trouble. Yeah, he's actually... Oh, we got some help from the Centaur Stomp. Not going to matter as Puppey rotated his way over.
Top tower's going to fall too already.
And Fnatic using this opportunity to capitalize on a little free map control, taking down the top tower, make it 1-1.
Yeah, and yeah, this is going very, very well for Fnatic early. I did not see that kill coming. I don't think that should happen either. You can just back off. I think Dindy was just feeling safe under the tower, but he had way too many stacks on him. He wasn't even level 3 yet, so he didn't have that Astral defensively. And man, they're forced to use Glyph on the left side. This T2 is already at 1,000 HP and much more damage to follow after.
And here we go, Fly right on top of Puppey, and there's the Grave Chill. This should be a free one, and it will be. And this is just flat out Fnatic recognizing that the posture that Na'Vi is showing them, they have the early game advantage. They have the push advantage. And if Na'Vi wants to do anything to stop this over in this top lane, which apparently they don't, they did Glyph, but this is just going to be a free tower. Oh, hang on. Yep. It's a 2-second Chaos Bolt. KKY right there with him. Kuroki leading the charge along with Vost. Trixie trying to salve through auto attacks. Will get off it. Oh, the Timber Chain. Actually, one more tower shot. They will end up trading. That's a decent trade for him, though. Now, hang on. They're going to dive Puppey again. Funix making his way over. Puppey dies in the shadow of his own tier 3. And there's just action everywhere. Hani here in mid, once again, has Dindy hemmed up, and he drops a second time. 5-2 in this early game. An unmitigated disaster for Na'Vi.
Yeah, again, AA is just not good at... he's not really... He can't really do anything else besides just sit in lane and try and combo with CK. He can't really do stuff on his own. He's not that great at ganking in mid. He's not that great at defending towers. He can't do anything in a 1-on-3 situation. And now they're really punishing for the picks. And this is a good play from Fnatic. And yeah, I thought that they would have something in mind for this AA, but as of right now, it is just absolutely useless. TP scrolling him, no brown boots even, level 2. And Hani off to a really good start, already 1,000 gold in the mid lane. And Dindy is just getting dominated in mid.
Oh, yeah, utterly. He's sitting at 0-2 right now. And even the Timber, I mean, at least they managed to drop Avos. It's still a good win for Avos because obviously Trixie wasn't there to soak the experience from his death. But Na'Vi's got to be feeling quite pressured. And this is kind of what I was alluding to is I like the combination of IO, Ancient Apparition, and the CK. But you don't just sit him in lane and farm. Like, that defeats the whole purpose of an Ancient Apparition pick, unless you're picking it for a specific reason, like you're up against a Chen or something like that, and you want to mitigate the healing. Hani and Trixie.
Or
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, or like something like Necrolite or anything like that. It would be good against Alchemist is the one that we probably see it versus the most. But yeah, as of right now, it is just not working out for them. Not a good pick in this particular scenario, or at least not yet. And
Funix spots out Trixie and company. Trixie and Hani trying to be cute over in the Radiant side jungle. They're going to pursue him out, and Trixie's in trouble and knows it. And Timber Chains does what damage he can, but ends up tracked down. They're going to collapse on Puppey here. This should be a free kill as the lasso spent by Hani drags him down to the river. And we'll get off the cold feet. Hani will be able to outrun it just barely. So they end up trading 1 for 1, certainly trading a Timber for a Ancient Apparition acceptable, but Era is finding his farm in the meantime. He's actually sitting on top of the board at 34 right now. Havos still hanging out in lane. What did Havos pick up? He's going with a Midas. Now, that's a little questionable to me. Midas in general is fine as an item in this situation, but you've got an Io. You're up against a Luna. I feel like they should be trying to get more out of their lineup as it stands instead of trying to push for a late game.
Yeah, their late game is not that bad though. They do have the OG, they do have Doombringer, who is decently effective late game with Mass Auras and Chaos Knight. They have like a lot of AoE to deal with a CK though, so like a super sex CK isn't going to make that big of a difference. Enchantress can steal an image, the Glaives, the Timbersaw Burst. So I mean, a super farm CK is not their ticket to a guaranteed victory.
Era's actually going with a Helm of the Dominator build. Has already picked up the Helm of Iron Will, has treads up as well. Trixie sitting in pretty decent position, all things considered. His level not the best, however. He's at level 4. He's got 1,000 gold, so treads are done if he wants to go in that direction. Arc Boots most likely going to be the pickup as soon as he can make it over here. And, yep, there we go. Arc Boots done. So, for right now, though, I mean, 6-3, Na'Vi being doubled up. Fnatic certainly in position to set the pace unless they can begin to get CK active across the map.
Yeah, CK West needs to really start making things happen. Kiro is almost level 6 though, so he's doing pretty well. Puppy, he has brown boots and he's almost level 5 too, so he's doing like okay, I suppose, in terms of recovery potential too.
They're going to smoke 4, moving them down bottom lane. Hani leading the way. He's only 500 gold from his Blink Dagger, and Havos is going to be the target for sure. He's going to make his way into the woods. Oh, Havos in a lot of trouble here. Beats a Lucent Beam and going to be lassoed back. They didn't even need to spin the lasso there. He was dead to rights. Dead to rights either way. And bringing him down, again, this is the risk. Now you've spent your gold on a Midas. That's great. But now you've died once. You're going to very potentially end up losing this tower unless you make a mass rotation. Flies there to try and hold things up in mid. So that's a tough tower to try and move on right now. And Puppy doing what he can. There's an Imprison. Puppy might try to follow it up and will go for it, but Fly able to make it away. They TP back Hani. And in the meantime, this bottom tier 1 drops to Era. Era's in great shape. Treads, Helm of the Dominator, Bassi done with another 700 gold on top of it.
Yep, Ancient Stacks already stacked once too. Na'Vi, they need some tower gold, they need some kills. They need to try and catch Fnatic by surprise, but Fnatic are definitely going to be the aggressors now. Hani just 25 gold away from his Blink Dagger, and yeah, Na'Vi's in a really bad position right now, especially with the relocate ganks. If they get a Blink and ulti on the CK too as a counter initiate, they are both going to die. So the Wisp CK not terribly effective. Like, who you're going to go on? Timbersaw, he probably can survive at this point, and he is super farmed, or decently farmed, I say. 2 and 2. He's pretty farmed considering he was an off lane versus a dual lane, and then oh boy,
Kuro walked into some trouble, and Havos going to come back in. He's going to go ahead and spend his combo on Era.
It's a big kill for them.
If they can get him.
If they can get it.
No. So far, oh, Nature's Attendance is there. Havos has Reality Ripped in 1 second. Lucent Beam spin. He's got to turn and run. In the meantime, OD and Funix show up, and Era's back to full health. Havos pursued out, cleaned up with 1 more Lucent Beam. And he had to pick his shot. Pursued a little too far, gave up a little too late, and ended up dead. Dindy now lassoed under his own tier 1, and Era ain't done. Astral Imprison is there. Kuroki there to help out. Fly manages to find another kill elsewhere. Can they get Dindy here? Nope, there's the Sanity's Eclipse, but Visage from downtown makes it another kill and a double kill for himself. The Familiar's there. They are just completely running over Na'Vi short of 10 minutes in, and Era makes it away with 70 HP. Nature's Attendance is the most annoying spell in Dota. I stand by it.
Wow, yeah, Na'Vi is just getting absolutely dominated. This is a really difficult early game to come back from, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the gold. It's 10 minutes in, 7,500 gold Fnatic has amassed right now. They're coming up on 5,000 experience. And we've seen a couple of times just how good this combination can be of Io, Ancient Apparition, and the CK. But again, opting instead to go for that early Midas has not paid for itself hardly at all. He's still lacking treads. His attack speed is low. His survivability is low. He's a million years away from the item he needs the most right now, which is a BKB. it's going to be a tough road for them to come back. Not going to count them out, though. They're Na'Vi.
Yeah, they need like a mech on Dendi. They need items to start fighting. They need level 6 on AA, and maybe they can start picking off some kills with like relocates and dooms. But for the most part, they have to engage any sort of 5-on-5 engagement.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Mid tier 1 going to be the target. Fnatic's ready to collapse, coming from the north. And looks like they're going to wait it out for a moment. They have a glyph to spin, and Na'Vi wisely decides to go ahead and retreat, suspecting something was up. And I'm a little surprised Fnatic actually didn't pull the trigger there. Puppey, in the meantime, has been soaking experience and grabbing a bit of gold out of this bottom lane. Fnatic, though, with the medallion done on Visage, Roshan's going to be an option to them anytime they want to take it. Up, just heard a Kale. Oh, actually, spinning on the creep. My bad.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And Puppey lassoed back. Hani catches him a little overextended down here, and yep, look at this. Roche Pit now where they're holding church and worshiping the Aegis that'll be on the floor sometime soon.
Yeah, easy kill for them. Too easy, probably.
All right, Merlini, coach him back. What do you do? I mean, at this point, it is officially out of hand. Almost 10,000 will be 10,000 after the death of Roshan. And you're just at 12 minutes in with this kind of a lineup, an IO and a CK. What do you do?
If it were like 5 minutes ago, I would say not go Midas and stuff. But yeah, I mean, pretty much just what I said a couple minutes ago. Just try and get kills where Fnatic aren't. If they're 5-banding, just split push. Avoid 5-on-5 fights at all costs, especially now that they have the Aegis. If you can get caught out, it's not that bad as long as it's just few and far between. But for the most part, they have to be pretty darn scared of what Fnatic is going to be throwing at them. They just have to get kills with Doom, OD, ult, just drop everything that you have on 1 or 2 people, just get out of there and split push and try and farm her way back into the game.
Luna almost has her BKB done. She's looking at like a 14-15 minute BKB at most to go with an Aquila and a Helm of the Dominator, and Tread's already done, as well as a nice fresh Aegis. And they're going to go ahead and just keep taking towers. There's no reason for them to stop. Even Trixie's now picked up his point booster, so he's getting closer and closer to his soul booster and eventual Bloodstone. And yeah, you're talking almost level 11 for Era as well. Here comes Notel. He's level 8, has a Midas of his own completed. And 4-staff finally done on Dendi, but might end up being a bit too little too late. AA ulti will connect and hit all 5 here. But there's no one coming. Just Dendi maybe gonna wander his way out.
Yeah, they should definitely just let this fall. Let every T2 fall and just try and get a T1 in exchange. That's a good trade for them at this point. A T1 for a T2.
And looks like that's the plan. Up at top, they've got Havos leading the charge. Looks like he's going to want to grab a set of drums now that he's finally got some item progression going. They have a glyph if they want to glyph this and defend it. Yeah, they're going to mass reactions. They got to run quick. Nope, they're going to stand and fight. No-Tail came in a little bit too early. Trixie's there, catches a 3-man chakram, and manages to temper chain out. Now Hani's there. He's eating a lot of damage in the meantime, looking for a target. Will manage to find Havos. Era in trouble. Will have the Aegis popped. And Hani managing to pull Havos out of position. Well shot with the flame break. And now Kuroki looks to be the next to drop, and will. Hani blinks on top of him. Chakram not going to be enough to catch up with Fnatic as he manages to retreat along with Puppey. But trading an Aegis for that fight right there, I would say, even though it cost them a couple of heroes, they keep their tier 1 up, they keep their tower record unblemished, and they keep total map control.
Yeah, not a terrible fight for Na'Vi, I suppose, but I mean, they didn't get the tower. They didn't really get too much out of it. One of the heroes got denied, but they should not have taken that fight. They're so far behind. I don't really know why they think they can take an engagement like that. They did end up losing to T2 in the process, and the gold lead is just getting uglier and uglier. 12,000 in favor of Fnatic. That's almost 1,000 GPM a minute.
And right now, not a whole lot they can do but sit back and try to play reactionary. Fnatic tripling them up in terms of kills, and the items just coming faster and faster for Fnatic as they now complete some boots of travel on the Bad Rider, which means he can be anywhere, anytime. Fly, very close to his mechanism. We'll have it at about 600 gold, give or take. Era, BKB now done, has 10-second charge left on it whenever he decides to take a big fight, and 900 gold to put towards whatever he wants at this point. I mean, things are just getting, have gotten. There's no is getting. Things have gotten way out of hand, and the one mechanism they would normally be able to count on is pretty much nullified. That's the problem with an IOCK or IO anything lineup. If you fall behind this much, the other team's just going to say, fine, we'll 5-man, make you 5-man, and you can't even use your hero.
Yep, that's how it's going for them. There's a smoking coming out from Fnatic looking to catch Dendi.
Honey spotted him out, and there's going to be, the lasso on the Dendi. Pulled out, blown up, and if they want to take the fight, they got to go now. Trixie managed to chase him up and chase him off to the north, and Nature's Attendants showing its strength over and over again. Such a powerful early game spell, just allows them to keep shoving after these small skirmishes, and wow, KKY completely melts in front of his own tier 2. This is going to be the last outer tier tower remaining. We see poor Na'Vi just pinging this top tower again, saying the hell with it. Let's get something.
Yep. Let's get something out of it. They need tower gold so badly, and the tower count 6-0 plus a Roshan, so that's like what, maybe 8,000 gold right there. So yeah, they did get a tower, but can they really come back from this? Oh, Doom comes out on Era.
Yep, Era Doom through his BKB, but already got off his ulti. In the meantime, Visage Familiars are there. Fnatic actually managed to juke him a little bit. The rest of them seem like they're going to be able to get away. Just heard Phantasm go off of Oast, banging away on some creeps. Fnatic will be pursued out by Trixie, trying the Timber Chain and Chakram after. Managed to catch him with the slow there. Havost hanging around in enemy territory. Not sure what the plan was there. Just kind of trying to clean up farm, it looked like.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, just kind of kicking it. Trixie throws out the Chakram, won't be pursued. And Fnatic just continues to control this game top to bottom.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And yeah, Na'Vi, it's just so difficult to come back from this sort of deficit. 18-5, 13 kill difference, 13,000 kill lead. Maybe they can catch Fnatic off guard at the next Roshan with an AA ultimate. That is one place that AA does really excel at, but without any farm on him, without like a Midas Scepter, I've seen that just like absolutely crush at MLG, but I don't really see that happening this game.
Right now, Era's just going to be able to continue to take mass amounts of Ancient stacks. Again, having gone with the Helm of the Dominator, this farming build going to work out quite well for him. And he's already got a Yasha, so Manta style likely on the way next. And honestly only needs 1,600 gold for the Ultimate Orb, and only a handful more to get the full item up, and he'll get probably half that out of this stack, give or take. And yeah, Na'Vi doing what they got to do, make something happen. They can't just sit back. The farm war's already lost. They just got to outmaneuver Fnatic over and over again for about the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, Era has some really nice items up on him too.
And Avos leading the charge, going to loop around, leading the rest of them. Doom is picked up a Vlad, so something joining their inventory. The mid-tier 1 in the meantime was denied. Roshan will be back up sometime in the near future. We'll see just how quickly. But at 1 minute, at least in the base time. And now Na'Vi being pursued by, well, I wouldn't say pursued, but running from Visage Familiars. But Fnatic just playing the smart too. They know their way in the lead, but they're not being caught out. They're not being punished for bad positioning.
Mm-hmm. Oh, some free Visage Birds. I guess that's a small victory for them. Hani, Boots of Travel. Yeah, the items are just coming in fast and furious on Fnatic right now. Bloodstone on Timbersaw. This is so ugly.
There's a smoke, and Na'Vi anticipating the fight. Chilling touch popped. Here comes Hani, looking for a target. Flame break thrown. And manages to grab out Dendi. Dendi blown up immediately. There's the AA ulti doing good damage. No Tail end up dying in the middle of it. And Fly cleaned up as well. Fnatic used Doom on Era. And Era ends up eating a lot of damage. But Trixie going to work as best he can, at least for the moment. Hani now the target of Avos. Puppy's right there with him. Trixie continuing to hang around this fight, though. Will manage to get a kill on the Ione and brings down Havost as well. This is what we talk about whenever we talk about the Timbersaw just being a time bomb in a fight. He's one of those heroes you have to account for, or this happens. An ultra kill because no one focus fired him. No one wanted to bring him down. They brought down Era, brought down Hani, brought down the Visage and the Enchantress, but the whole time Trixie just doing all that pure damage, makes it an ultra kill, makes it a 5-for-4 exchange Fnatic will be happy to take.
That's about as good as you can hope for as Na'Vi, though. They came out way on top of what anyone would expect them coming out of in that engagement, though. 4 for 5 is very, very good, and that should give them a nice XP boost, a decent gold boost, and catch-up Midas coming out from Doom, so they're not out of it yet.
Oh, no. They're Na'Vi. Never count them out. Seen them in positions as bad or worse than this before, and seen them make a game of it at the very least. But 9-23, they got their work cut out for them. Hani working on a BKB now, following his Blink Dagger. As you said, the catch-up Midas complete on Fnatic, so looks like they want to play defensive. It's going to be a BKB pickup for Dindy. Next opportunity, BKB getting closer and closer for Avos. The BKB is just such an essential item for him against this lineup. And Puppy's added a Staff of Wizardry to his inventory. We'll see what he's going to use that for. It'll be something like a Force Staff or a little survivability, or if he will end up going with the Scepter. Roche is back up and will be spotted as the AA ulti connects. And they're just going to go right in.
Yeah, right after it comes out, though. Well.
And don't know if Na'Vi really has the goods to try and challenge this. I mean, they took about as good a fight as you mentioned as they could have hoped for.
They need AA ultimate, though, if they want to even have a chance of contesting.
One of the big problems with them giving an ultra kill to the Timbersaw the way they did, though, is now look at his Bloodstone. That Bloodstone came out just before that fight at top, and now up to 13 charges. So he's going to be a handful to deal with. And pretty much Fnatic, I mean, with the Aegis up, they can play as aggressive or as passively as they want. Obviously, aggressive seems to be the name of the game as they rush down mid, but BKB should be done on CK. Never mind. I actually thought he had the recipe banked. He doesn't. So still needs about another 1,200 gold, and that might be a bit too late.
It's do or die for Na'Vi. Na'Vi are pretty darn good at holding T3s, though, so we may see them pull something out here. If Hani gets a clean initiate, though, with the Batrider, and there is no, like, CK pull-in or OD Astral that comes out immediately on the Batrider, it's going to go downhill for Na'Vi and downhill fast. So they have to prevent Fnatic from getting a really clean engagement.
Manta Style finally completed on Era, so their items coming out just so quick. Top 3 farmers on the board, all belonging to Fnatic, and not just by a little bit. As of right now, Era's farm, gigantic. More than 5,000 gold above the next closest for Na'Vi. 5,000 above that of Fnatic. And Fnatic really, the problem with what they've done with Fnatic is he's their highest farmer at this point, but he's built no damage. He's got utility items. He's got a Vlad's. He's got a Drums. He's got a Midas, as you said, a catch-up Midas. So he's helping the team out, but right now they're just craving damage, and they're not going to be getting it out of Boast. He's built nothing but survivability so far.
Yeah, maybe Dendi after he gets his BKB too, but yeah, as you said, damage is severely lacking for them. Havos got out.
Gonna be lassoed back. Kuro's there, gonna try to get him out, and...
Wow, what a nice Lucent Beam from Era to interrupt the relocate.
And Fnatic manages to get 2 for free. And looks like Na'Vi might be out of time. They're only down for 30 seconds because it is early. Chat trivia. Which player has a 15-4 record as Doom in Pro Dota? More than twice as many wins as the next closest player. I have seen Fnatic on Doom quite a bit. And I think if it was Fnatic, though, it wouldn't be asked. So what's your guess, Merlini?
I've seen, I think Tongfu use it in the Eastern scene. This was like way long ago. I forget who the player is. But... I mean, to be honest, I have not seen that much Doom in action. It's just like here and there. It's never like, oh my gosh, they're definitely going to pick Doom here.
I mean, I remember seeing Fnatic run Doom when he was with Empire. So I'm going to say Fnatic, although it seems a little on the nose, a little obvious. So we'll see. In the meantime, big reactions coming back. They're going to try to track down Fnatic as he retreats. Na'Vi manages to keep the tier 3 up at least a little bit longer, and Fnatic will actually manage to make it to safety.
Yep, they're still hanging in there. Maybe get some free Visage Burst. That's kind of what they need right now. 15,000 gold lead, that's definitely not insurmountable from Na'Vi. CK, once they get to the BKBs, they can do pretty well because Fnatic, they don't really have anything versus BKBs. I mean, Batrider can pull someone, but they do have the counter initiate with Reality Rift as well as OD with his Astral Imprisonment, but they have to be like really fast about it or else he is just going to force staff away and they're going to lose the fight from there. So once BKBs come out, they can try and take the fight to Fnatic. instead of just waiting for a nice, waiting for the bat to initiate.
And Vost might be in trouble again. They're collapsing. Kuroki's right there with him. Has relocate at the ready, and they're going to go right after him. He's actually going to tether up and relocate immediately. Should be a free kill. And,
unless we see shenanigans.
Yep. Well, let's see. Are there going to be shenanigans? Where are you, Kuro? And nope, no shenanigans. He's dead. See you back at the base, brother. 26-9. And they're going to charge down this top lane once again. Empire's mag. Huh. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. Empire's always been fond of running the Doom, apparently. But looks like Fnatic ready to put a cherry on him, my friend.
Yep.
Moving up to the tier 3, Manta Pot. And Na'Vi down to their last gasps here in the HyperX D2L. Tier 3 is down.
They may just get with the racks and try and push because I don't think they can defend. Like, I think they know they can't defend either. Maybe if they, like, take a fight at the T4, they can. There's the AAO that comes out.
Decent damage done, but so far just really not enough to scare them away at all. They're taking what they can elsewhere, namely a tier 1 and a tier 2. And we're going to see a lasso on the Dindy. There's the Eclipse, and he drops immediately. Godlike now for Trixie, who has dominated this game more or less from word 1. He didn't have the best start in history, but he had a good enough one. And then we just saw him go berserk. And again, a hero like this, in competent hands, you have to account for in these fights, and they just have not been doing that. And Trixie has managed to use it to quite solid effect. Aegis reclaimed in just about 30 seconds. Puppey caught out. Here comes Dindy. Gets the imprison off on Fly. And in the meantime, Enchantress actually managing to find kills elsewhere. Fly will finally end up dead here. It looks like they actually did go toe-to-toe back here at the tier 3. So Hani there actually spin his lasso as well. But 10-29, Fnatic brings down their first set of racks and will probably just look to regroup. There's going to be another Roshan back up probably in the next, call it 3 to 5 minutes, give or take.
Yeah, I don't know when the GG is going to come out, but they are hanging in there mighty fine.
So looking at, just looking at the series as a whole, it's been fairly lopsided in all 3 games here. And would you say that this one came down to the draft or more to execution, Merlini?
I think draft. Like the Timbersaw is really good versus CK and Wisp. The Enchantress, as we saw in Game 1, just like absolutely dominated Na'Vi. And the Batrider, I didn't initially think that it was a good matchup for Hani, but Hani just like ran away with it, got 2 solo kills on Dendi, forced Na'Vi to all regroup and huddle around mid, and that just let the other lanes win. So I had originally thought it wasn't an outdraft, but after seeing this game and after seeing how well these heroes played out for Fnatic, I think that Game 1 and 3 were outdraft, and Fnatic just executed so perfectly in the early game in both of those.
No-Tail, very nearly done with his scepter now. And, yep, actually does have it done now if he wants it. Era, in the meantime, has finished his butterfly. And they really just have no answer for him now. And they're trying to smoke and make something happen. But this is complete desperation at this point. They know Roche will be back up momentarily. About 45 seconds, give or take. They're going to move into the dire side jungle, but nobody's home. And they can't even really afford to do this with the racks naked. As you can see, the creeps already making their way in and starting to chip away at those last few buildings. They're going to come from
behind, though. This is not bad.
And
chicken. Don't go for the chicken. They just gave away their position for like 800 gold. That is, or 1,000 gold. That's not worth it.
I agree. And now Kuro might be in some trouble. Will be in some trouble. Cleaned up for free. And all the while, creeps were banging around on their base at the tier 4s.
Bo's getting greedy there.
And here we go. Fnatic now going to focus down the tier 3. They're ready to rock. Roshan back up in about 45 seconds as well.
Structures are fortified.
And Glyph popped, now down. Dindy's got to be careful. He's not very survivable right now. Funnick rushes forward, has his BKB ready. That's a DD active on Eras. He just is going to be able to pull down these buildings on a whim, Luna actually manages to get a solo kill on Fnatic in the meantime. Probably just off of Glaives at this point. And buyback from Doom, and this will be your last hurrah. Only one set of racks remaining. BKB on, well, they will be able to grab Fnatic out. He's cleaned up. Dindy's there. BKB's up on both sides. Avosh just kind of wandering in circles, getting next to nothing done. Ends up dead, and GG. Well, most people pick Na'Vi to finish second in our standings or first, depending on how they match up against Alliance. They lost against Alliance, and then Team Liquid upset them. Most people pick Na'Vi to come out of our Western playoffs with good reason. But Fnatic pulls off the upset, and in a 2-1 series has managed to fight their way from a fourth-place finish all the way to our Western final playoffs coming up on Thursday. What a great performance out of them. And at least for a little while, they managed to lay hands on bragging rights as well, my friend. As Nahaz had pointed out, our stats man, these two teams have matched up no less than 8 times over the last 2 weeks, split them right down the middle, 4-4. And now Fnatic manages to take 2 of 3.
Fnatic just played so well in games 1 and 3, the games they won. They just executed so well in the early game, and they pretty much made it near impossible for Na'Vi to come back from. So Fnatic's early game and drafting is really, really good. And Na'Vi, they're kind of stuck in a situation where, well, we can't use Width as well as you guys, but we also don't want to ban it, and they tried to use it for themselves, and it just did not work out. Hovos 0-9 on the Chaos Knight, 3-9 on Kuroki on the EO, and I think they may need to shy away from that Wisp and just simply ban it out in the next draft.
Well, there will be no next draft here for them. Again, our bubble race playoffs leave no room for error. Every match is an elimination match, and like that, Na'Vi's run here in D2L Season 4, brought to you by Kingston HyperX, comes to an end. Fnatic looking to be the Cinderellas of our story and put their glass slippers on, get all tarted up, and make their way to Vegas. To do so, though, they're going to have to fight through Team Liquid coming up Thursday. That'll, again, be a best of 5. 31 minutes, 2 seconds. The official game time, 10-35. The final kill score. Fnatic wins 2-1. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Now, don't forget, guys, that is the end of our Western broadcast for the day, but we still got lots of Eastern Dota on the way. 2 more best of 3s will be kicking off coming up at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. And I can't wait. It'll be Tongfu taking on DK. Lead things off in our first match of the Eastern Bubble Race. The winner of that will advance to Vici Gaming. We'll be awaiting them in their next round. And don't forget, we're off tomorrow. But Thursday, going to be our finals day here in the playoffs. And I can't wait for you to join us for that. Of course, us being myself and Ben Merlini Wu. And as we put the West, at least all but one match to bed here, Ben, any final thoughts? Not just on today, but in terms of general thoughts as what it's taken for us to go from a field of 8 to a field of 2.
I think like a month ago, I think Na'Vi would have stood a much better shot, but the playing field has just evened out so much in the Western scene. Like Alliance didn't make it to the finals at DreamHack. Alliance and Na'Vi also didn't make it to the finals at MLG. So I think a month ago we'd have been looking at something different. But Fnatic, they have just been on a tear these past few weeks, and beating out Na'Vi in 2 out of the 3 most recent series, that's very, very impressive, and they've just continuously impressed me as a team.
Yeah, I very much agree with you. Fnatic's just one of those teams, and they've been this way for a long time. They just quietly, they don't win every big event. Na'Vi and Alliance, let's just be honest, even before the International. They're just the teams who show up at LAN and come in first or second and everything. But Fnatic quietly makes noise in every event they're in. They might not always win first, but they are almost always in the running for first or second, and certainly in the running for top 3. And they've certainly earned their way in as Na'Vi finishes once again their run here in D2L Season 4, brought to you by Kingston HyperX, in 3rd place, and going to just be Team Liquid, or actually they finish in 4th place overall now that I think about it. It's going to be Team Liquid and Fnatic matching up for a chance to join Alliance in Las Vegas coming up in January. All right, guys, not sure what's on. Anything on we can direct them to, Conrad? Anything fun? Yeah, Connie, check it in, see what I can send you guys through, whatever else is going on. While he's doing that, how about you go ahead and drop the deets on where they can find more about you in general, Ben? Obviously, we have our Twitter addresses pop up and all that fun stuff, but tell them where else they can find you.
You can find me at twitter.com/MaliniDota, as well as Facebook and YouTube. I release Dota videos regularly, and you can find me casting on D2L as well as sometimes on Beyond the Summit. Thank you, ASE, for an excellent cast. I'm glad we're back in action.
Oh, yeah.
I would have liked to see more close matches today, but I mean, it's still very good play from both teams.
Yeah, very much agree. I mean, as you said, the match is not necessarily close. Fnatic just making a day of it, getting past Virtus Pro 2-0, and then hanging that 2-1 loss on Na'Vi. And doing so rather impressively. I mean, Na'Vi beat them just as lopsided in Game 2, but for the most part, Fnatic seem to just have Na'Vi's number, especially in Game 3. So, what's the good news, Conrad? Where can we send it? Well, what's his name? HyperX. Go watch HyperX. There you go, guys. Apparently there's not a... Yeah, but make sure you're back here in just about an hour and 40 minutes. Again, that'll be DK versus Tongfu coming up soon. Until then, enjoy your evening and enjoy some Dota, but be back in about an hour and 40 minutes. Until then, yeah, fun times. Go get something to eat. I know that's what I'm going to do. See you in a bit.